Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now. Shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Phillip Show. Grab your coffee. So listen, entertainment takes so many twists and so many turns, no matter what genre you are in, and no matter what you're talking about. You can see on award shows, there's all kinds of entertainment, and there's all kinds of lifestyles, there's all kinds of accolades, and there's all kinds of success. And today, we are here with a super entertainer. His name is Octavius Rashad. Octavius.
Hello.
What's going on? Come on, Jacket.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we kind of matched. We got the Black Memo on a Monday.
We did. Black Memo on a Monday. That's what we what we did.
I'm doing good though. It's going good. Listen, I try to start at the beginning of the week with just positive thoughts. Listen, we'll get through the week and we'll be back into another weekend and we can have some more fun. So I'm expecting a great start to the week. Let's say that. And starting with you, look, I can't ask for anything more. I'm excited to talk with you.
And here we are. So we're talking about, entertainment and, the world of, and also the world of entrepreneurs, but really when it comes into how we step into different spaces. And you have been kind of both. You're both an entertainer and an entrepreneur. How did you get started in entertainment? And before we do that, what kind of entertainer are you?
I like to think of myself, oh wow. So it's changed over the years. You said, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I consider myself an entrepreneur, but I also have been an entertainer on many different facets as a male in the industry. So I started, I guess you could say, as a bar back. Okay. So I sort of just brought people out their drinks in the nightclub without a shirt back in my youth. I then decided to go dance and eventually found my way to male leading in the drag arena, as I call it. So I call myself a fantasy provider.
Oh, just a minute. Hold it. Just
yeah.
A fantasy provider. Well, that makes sense. So when it comes to entertainment, what drew you to entertainment? Part of this show, we talk about people's journeys and who they are and how they, how you became courageous enough to step into and who you are. And now you're on a stage. So how did you kind of go from growing up to being comfortable enough saying, you know what, this is me. And now I'm going to present you with this person on stage.
Wow. So that question is so deep in how you expressed it. But unfortunately for me, when I did get on stage, I was a much younger man. And it was the thrill. Honestly, it was the thrill. Like I said, I was into providing a fantasy. The patrons, the audience members seemed to enjoy the fantasy that I was providing. So it was fun. But I actually got into the business through, let's just say, there are certain generations, because I think this generation, the whole family unit is a little different than what it was for me when I came out. But I was lucky enough to be introduced to a very well-known gay family. Let's just say that being a same gender loving male, as you grow up, you're looking for people to influence you and guide you and help you navigate your way through this lifestyle. And I was fortunate enough to meet Miss Rashad at an early age, 17 years old. I met her. She was a good friend of mine. She became my drag mother. I didn't even know what drag mother was at that moment. What I did know was that I was hanging out with this beautiful lady who was like a superstar, and she took me on the road with her. And that was how I finally got into the business of, like I said, bar backing. And every little thing that I could do in the bar while being there with Jarier, I was able to do. And then eventually I decided that I wanted to get on stage like all the other entertainers that I was working with backstage. So Jarier actually put me in the spotlight by just taking me on the road with her.
A lot of people know about drag, but a lot of people don't know about, what do we call it? Male fantasy providing?
I call it male fantasy provider. They just say male stripper, but we're not always stripping. So it's male
Right.
entertainer, male lead,
So
just the guys in the drag scene is what I
So
call
for
it.
people, right. So for people who are and nowadays, it's becoming a lot more familiar. Drag is becoming a
Yeah.
lot more familiar. But male entertainment, aside from just stripping, doesn't seem to catch on or isn't as understandable. What about being an entertainer, aside from stripping? Because I think people get that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people get that. But what about being an entertainer, a male entertainer in, I guess, under the umbrella of the drag world, if you will? What about that is enticing for males? Because when it comes to female entertainment, it seems like, you get the glitz, the glamour, the hair, the makeup. But what about male entertaining is enticing?
So I think for me, especially, and I can only really speak to my experience because I do watch and I look around at my fellow male entertainers that are not having the same success that I had. And again, I have to attribute a lot of that success to my drag family, my drag mother. But what I did was I found again that the fantasy being provided was what was initially enticing from the audience. For me as the entertainer, again, the thrill of it was all there. But as I transitioned, as I got older, as I found, you need to find other things, like you said, outside of stripping that will work for you if you're not going to strip. So I decided to take the sex appeal that you get from stripping and just add it to performances. Obviously, male performances that I could link with, Usher Raymond being one of my favorites. I was able to transition. Okay, I see what he's doing, watching him as a real entertainer, and then taking the sex appeal and kind of bringing it together. But we do. I think a male could be very successful if he does mimic what you say about the drag queens, the hair, the makeup, the costuming. I think all of those things are very important. And if you do that very well, like there's a male entertainer in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to Monty St. James. I think he is one of the leads for all of us as male entertainers coming up, and he is not afraid of all of those things. Costuming, just as big as the drag queens, and all of that creativity. I think that will help a male entertainer become more successful, but it is also enticing because it's fun. You get to play dress up and you get to, look fabulous. Listen, it's a good time. It's a good time.
I know that a lot of times when people step into the drag world and decide to take the stage for the first time, they are two different personalities almost, a lot of times. I can't say that, I'm not painting a broad brush, but a lot of times. Would you say that you're the same off stage as you are on?
I would say no. I would say I would like to be the character that I present all the time. He's a party guy. He's a socialite, but no, I'm quite the opposite. My life off stage is a complete opposite reflection of what you would see from me on stage.
What is your life? What is your life off stage? Tell us about that.
So right now to date, I'm a 44-year-old man. So my perspective on life has changed a lot. Different priorities obviously are coming across my board, but for the most part, I stay at home. I'm a corporate banker. I work from home. I mentioned to you in the green room that I'm a proud dad of 2 fur babies. I love family. I love as much peace of mind that I can get, because that's not promised, especially in the world of today where there's like so much craziness going on. So I love to just make memories and the simple life, honestly. Like I love to have a good time, but the more simpler things are becoming more important to me. So I would say that's different because the persona that Octavius has is lights, camera, action, sexy boy and all that. And that's not a day-to-day experience for me at all.
You said you're a banker and I'm at home with the dogs.
Yeah, that's it.
As you were going through your journey, going from bar back, and then all of a sudden you're on the stage and you have the lights, the glitz, and the glamour, and then you're stepping into something else. You're maturing, and you're just kind of growing into being, the man that you are today. How did you, or why did you transition from just being a part of the shows to actually forming your own shows and hosting your own pageants? Why the switch?
So coming up in the time that I did, I got to see all that simultaneously. I keep mentioning Jaria, but she did take me on the road, and she was also not just a showgirl, but a pageant girl. So I got to see, the showbiz, and then this big platform where it's competition and showmanship and tons of people in line to compete against each other. And I loved it. Like immediately, I absolutely loved it. And at that time, you know, again, a young man thinking he's on the top of his game, have a little money to spare because we young. Listen, priorities are a little different when you're younger. And I could just spend money wherever I chose. And I decided that I would create my own. I would bring some of the things that I would see abroad with Jarrier back to the small town city, Dayton, Ohio, that I was born in. And so I decided like I could do that, or you get a couple of friends and see if we could do it together. And we did. And it also allowed me to not really rely on being such this entertainer that I could brand myself. Right. And what I mean by that is if you'll find, we spoke about male entertainment. A lot of guys, again, didn't have the success that I did. And I wouldn't say that I had a huge success. I would say that I just had an opportunity to work a little bit more than others, but that work is not guaranteed. So I wanted to provide that atmosphere and that platform for myself without waiting. And that was actually a good thing because it happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So with you, like kind of having your own, and you had mentioned that some people didn't have the success that you had and you worked a little bit more. What makes in male entertainment, what makes somebody successful?
Hold on for a second. I want to give my mom a kiss. She just came in. I got to give her a kiss because I only see her once a day. They're saying hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey there.
Love you. All right. Sorry about that. So what makes a success? I think just, you know, continue to being involved. You know, not only did she take me on the road, but I was involved. I was there. I started going on shows on my own. Right. I started to promote myself and let them know, hey, I'm not just Jarrier's son, but I can come on my own. Like, you don't have to wait and book me because she's coming. You can have me whenever you like. And so by doing that, I got to mix and mingle with the bar owners. And I think you can be successful just by jumping in there, right? And being involved. That's the first part, is being involved in whatever way you can. And then if you get a chance to showcase your talents, just do good, because then they'll have you back.
Right. This is true. Did it take, I guess for you, and I don't know your journey. Let me ask this. When did you have a coming out moment?
So that's a great question. And that wasn't on the list. That's a great question.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I love to tell this story because again, I come from a time where, you know, everything was a lot more secret. And you know, I especially come from a time in school where I tried to blend in as much as possible. There's that whole DL community, and it was a good thing for me. I didn't have to bother with a lot of the trauma of people not understanding, just kind of blend in. Well, that was in my head because I'm one of those stories that everybody around you is just waiting for you to feel more comfortable with yourself. And my nightlife, as I said earlier, is like completely different than my real life. So as I'm on stage and being this entertainer and growing in the industry, name being known, face, it was kind of really weird to say then that I was still in the closet because at any moment, but in my mind, I was. Okay. And so not until probably, I want to say 6 years ago. So right at 38, I'm headed into 40. I'm feeling this whole experience of, okay, I'm going to gather everybody together. I'm going to tell them that I am gay. And it's just this whole big thing. And they look back at me and say, we know. Yeah, is that what you wanted to tell them?
Is that what you
said?
6
years ago. Well, so this is what I'm saying. Yeah, because you know me for a while. I never thought that it was a need. It was never a need to do that. Like, I never thought there was a need to do that. But I think after Ricky Martin's story, I'm old, y'all. And the other show host, the lady with the short hair. Well, how could I not know her name right now? Oh, she's one of the most popular show hosts out there. Oh, Ellen.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Brain fart. But after their coming out stories and Rosie O'Donnell, I don't know if you all remember that time when like those celebrities were starting to come out and they were feeling empowered behind it. I actually heard Ricky Martin say when he did that, like so many lights went off, so many doors opened. It was just a freeing moment. And so I wanted that. Basically. So I said, you know what? I'm going to say it out my own mouth because honestly, for me, until you say it, no one has the right to assume or bring you out of that closet. So I did that. And I encourage everybody else to do the same.
Wow. Well, I know part of what you said just at that last part, because it's really what you think about you and what you're ready to declare about you. It doesn't really, you hear a lot of stories and like, oh, I've always known that. I've always known that. But it doesn't really matter what people are assuming. It's really, what are you comfortable with kind of telling yourself about you and accepting about you? How was it for you, being so successful as a male entertainer, all the while not really living and being, I guess, free enough to be that person?
It was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle because, I mean, again, I lived a whole free lifestyle outside of just feeling the need to, be transparent with others when it came to identification. It was just never a thing. It was just unsaid. Like don't ask, don't tell. Even the government was putting out propaganda that you don't tell nobody, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually it changed, and we're proud. We're loud and proud, and we're, we want our rights. And I thought I want to be a part of that. So it was a struggle for me living that life, but I kept asking myself the question, like, do you really think that you are in the closet as, out front in line you are? And so they just came together, thoughts came together, and actions happened, and I did it. And it was, again, so funny, but I felt so loved from my community that I had to come to my home. I did this whole thing at my home over dinner, like a big thing. And it was just like, oh, come on. Can we talk? Can we play cards now? Because if that's what you wanted to call us over here for, but the loving feeling was definitely felt. So
what changed inside you after you made that decision for you?
Well, not a whole lot. I laughed at myself. I kind of had to take a whole, look back at the whole scenario and everything over time and just say, you were loved. It was just that. You didn't have to say it, and they didn't have to talk about it. And I know that's not everybody's situation, right? So in my life, I had to embrace that. And it made me more confident, I guess I could say, because now I do live very free. And don't mind to tell someone, and that was something that I could never do then. So I guess it did empower me overall.
When you said you realized that you were loved, was part of the reasoning for you not really declaring or saying it out loud or admitting it to people? Did you feel as though you would not be loved or you would not be accepted?
Yeah, so I don't know if it wasn't the love part of the acceptance. I just didn't want to run into the switch, as I would call it. You have, so many people that admire you in your real life day-to-day work, because I was still being me, doing things pretty well in life. I was pretty successful outside of the entertainment industry. And so I just didn't want that to switch to, oh, that's why you speak so well, or, oh, that's why you do that. I mean, and this is in my head because of what you see in the community and society from people who are not accepting.
Not you coming out being the reason why you speak so well. Dang.
Well, you know how they used to. So I don't know how close we are age, but from my generation, boys did certain things, and if you did other things well, then that whole thing, which is absurd. But right.
Yeah. Wow. Look, now I'm in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're comfortable. Now you are embracing all of you and all of that. So congratulations there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell me about, okay, so now you have a pageantry. Do you have a system? What's that?
I have a system. And it's so, I'm glad that you mentioned it that way, because there are a lot of people who have pageants or contests, right? Talent shows. But I do have, I'm very proud to say that I am the founder of Platinum Gem City Pageantry, which we're celebrating our 20th year in existence. And what the difference between a pageant and a system is that we have several different divisions that we offer for competitors to express their talents. And we also do other activities. So we're a huge community within itself of pageantry. And I just am so excited to be a part of like all of these well-known entertainers, and then some well-known rising stars, and then some films, some kings, some new, we have a whole family unit. So yes.
Why is it important for you? Because I know that you're active in your community as well, but why is it important for you, as you highlighted about your system, that it's not just about the contests, it's about the community and the family of it all?
That's an approach that I just started here within the last 10 years. The first 10 years was merely entertainment. to entertain, to bring people from across the nation into, again, Dayton, Ohio, some things that the people there didn't get to see on a regular basis. That was my initial goal. Later, when I seen how big it started to become and that we were still being around and we received, a legacy started, we did have to do a little bit more. And that's when the community action comes in. And then it's important because then that gives people an opportunity not just to present their fashion and talents, on stage, but other passions and platforms that these individuals have within them. I can encourage you to do it. And that's basically how we started to become more community aware about what would you like to provide? What would you like to provide? Well, let's see what we all can do together to make this thing happen for the community. So we've done a couple of things real quick. We've done food drives. I've had a great opportunity to work with the Ohio Food Bank. That's been my passion. My passion is just to get with the food banks. We got to eat, y'all. I'm a foodie. I sit at home probably more than I need to and eat. So I know the pleasures of eating. So we did that. And we also have done a book bag drive for the kids. It's going back to school time now. So I wish we had that on the calendar, but we've done a few things.
Now, is that something, I know you said that that's part of your passion. Is that even outside of your business, that's just part of who you are, to give back to the community?
Yes. I'm pretty involved in my church community, and I was just saying to myself, there's so many other ways to be a part of community action, but being that I go to church often, that was the best place that I could go to connect with doing community works, and we do quite a few. So yes.
I know a lot of people shy away from words like church and, spirituality, not so much spirituality, but theology, I guess, if you will, when it comes to LGBTQ plus. And you are an active member in your church. How is that working out for you?
I actually am a member of an all-affirming ministry. Which, again, these terms, a different generation, I know that they've probably been around a lot longer than I was made aware, but not until I became a full-fledged adult, which for different people is at different ages, right? Did I seek out, if this thing is real, let me find it. And when I did find the All Affirming Ministry, I suggest that to anyone in the community that is looking to grow in spirit, right? Find an All Affirming Ministry that can support you in doing that. It's been great for me.
Yeah. When you, just for the people who are watching that may not understand that verbiage, when you say all affirming, what does that mean?
So basically, I'll say it this way: the traditional churches, as loving as they want to be, they just do not receive all peoples. And so the LGBTQIA, that whole rainbow spectrum, they don't feel as comfortable being in those traditional churches. Now, there are some that will go and tithe and do all the things that they do, but at some point you'll get the sermon at least once a year, y'all. You get it once a year, and they can, maybe bash or borderline bash the way that you're living, and you feel like you're doing a good job living a good life. I don't think that's right. So the All Affirming Ministry does welcome the full rainbow spectrum, amongst other I guess, like you mentioned, theologies. We don't just throw you out because your theology is a little bit different than ours. We welcome you, and we fellowship together and come to a common point.
That's wonderful. I think it's interesting too how this is going into a whole nother conversation, but I think it's the division, it seems, between, and I use Black LGBTQ plus versus the church, but when you do, not you personally, but plural, when people do shows and you go to pageants and you go to all these things, there's like gospel music all the time.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to watch the faith and to, watch the passion for Christ and watch all these, in spite of how many people feel as though they have been, cast aside from the church. It's so encouraging would be the word I would use, but inspiring would probably be more so accurate.
No, of course. I think that that just speaks to the yearning to have connection. And my thought, and I want to say this to anybody that may be listening or watching your show, that connection starts within yourself and the intimate connection that you'll have with the Creator. So even through the music, even if that's the only time that they get to have that commune with spirit, I think it's awesome. And I think the creator is right there with them, just cheering them on. And could tip them if he could. But I'm sure the tips come later in form of blessings. We'll just say.
Yeah, right. Pour out a blessing.
Right.
So you have all these things going on. What's next for Octavius?
Well, here right now, I'll say next I will be in Dayton, Ohio. We are having, speaking of Platinum Gym City, we are going to push our professional division out until 2023. But we are going to close the summer out with saluting our rising stars. So this will be our 16th year providing a platform for up and coming newcomers to compete.
Oh, wow.
So we have that September 24th right at MJ's in Dayton, Ohio. So yeah, that's coming up soon. I'm getting ready.
Well, yeah. And I know that summer's is doing its bow out right about now.
Yeah. I don't think summer really ever got a chance. I really wanted the hot temperatures. We got a couple of days, but I mean like straight. Here in Cincinnati, it's been a lot. What we have gotten is a lot of rain.
Oh, this is true. True.
I would like a good hot day.
Oh, nah. No, I need to go.
Oh, you don't like
it? I need a sweater. I need a sweater weather.
Oh, you ready for fall and winter? Oh, no.
I sure am. Well, Octavius, thank you so much for joining us. And I do want to ask you one more thing. You know, part of your journey just seems to be so inspirational when it comes to the fact that you decided at such a late date and you continue to, I guess, endure would be the word. But for somebody who may hear your story and kind of like, you know, that's kind of me too, what advice would you have for them?
So I would just tell them, again, just like as I just said, everything starts from within. I do a lot of self-reflection. I don't allow the things around me to really define or determine, you know, my ability to be a good person, my ability to be a sane person, any of those things that the world would try to do. And that's where the heaviness comes in, right? When all of that pounds on you and you're not really sure how to handle all of what is thrown at you. I tell people, think, you know, self-reflection on the inside. Start from the inside, have peace from within, and it will just, like the Matrix, change everything that you see on the outside, right? It'll change it all to a very beautiful place because you're beautiful on the inside. So start from within, heal or grow from within, and it'll just self-reflect.
I love that. Heal or grow from within. Octavius, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I love your platform. Thank you for allowing me to come on and talk with you this morning.
Absolutely. I hope you come back.
Absolutely. You let me know.
I will. So that's Octavius Rashad. Listen, heal and grow from within. Everything you need, you have it within. Look internally. Like I say here all the time, you are the best you in the world. And I will see you next time here on The Phillip Show.
Don't wait till the battle's over.